You're watching the News Hour at 9.
While stories of Me Too are coming from all walks of life, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are concentrating on one story and one headline. Why? Because this gentleman has made it to the top body in this country, which is the Union Council of Ministers. 7 journalists, one headline. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the case that I present to you tonight. As a woman journalist today, I want to highlight the allegations that have been leveled by many of my colleagues against a man who has been a revered journalist and intellectual, and for most of his life revered by many youngsters for his skills in writing. But today, he owns and sits in the prestigious position of a Minister of State for External Affairs. In many ways, he represents our country internationally. Is he fit to do that when there are 9 women who have come out and stated what they suffered at his hands? His past seems to have caught up with him. Accounts of 7 reputed journalists from across platforms have only one thing to suggest about Mr. MJ Akbar, that he is a sexual predator who all along used his powerful position as an editor to not only sexually assault young reporters, young professionals, but also to ruin their careers if they said no to his advances. The ball was set rolling by Priya Ramani, who accused Akbar of being an expert at pinching, patting, rubbing and assaulting. Amongst the most horrifying accounts comes from a journalist named Ghazala Vaibhav, who alleged that the Delhi office was like MJ Akbar's harem. She narrates how every now and then MJ Akbar would call her to his cabin and touch her inappropriately. Senior journalist Saba Naqvi has also gone on to term him the worst editor she ever encountered, adding that his pattern of behavior with women was akin to conquest of a finely honed predator. The current resident editor of Asian Age, Suparna Sharma, has revealed how MJ Akbar's transgressions were routine and how at least 3 women had confided in her about his sexual misconducts. Mr. MJ Akbar allegedly pursued almost all women in the same way, in the same manner. Meetings in hotels, giving them plum assignments, offering them drinks or insisting that they take a car ride with him. He targeted mostly young women who lived alone, loved their jobs and were bright and ambitious. Shrutapa Paul, who worked with him in India today, was perhaps the most moving account of all. She claims to have been targeted by this alleged predator soon after the demise of her own father. From one of the brightest sparks in office, she was reduced to a nobody in her organization after she refused to meet him in a hotel in Kolkata. All these stories have similar gory details to share, which is why the opposition too is speaking in one voice, demanding MJ Akbar's resignation.
Mr. MJ Akbar must either offer a satisfactory explanation or must resign forthwith. How can he be in the ministry?
It is high time that the Prime Minister of India sacks him, and I hope that the Minister of External Affairs will read all those horrible details.
It would be desirable that he quits the post, steps down.
The Prime Minister should at least quit, and someone should take this moral responsibility and this courage to face this.
So the legitimate question on the News Hour tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is just simply this. After these accounts of 9 women have come out, can the government justify having a sexual predator, an alleged sexual predator, as a minister representing India in the world, on the world stage? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel strongly about this. I'm sure you do too, because we all have young professional women working in our organizations, and all of them are looking up to us with questions in their eyes. We in position of power, of accountability, will we bite the bullet? Because we need to take a stand. We can't just have another issue being brushed under the carpet, under the cacophony of what is called politicization. And that's the big debate. MJ Akbar must go. That's the debate. That's the hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Vaibhav Aggarwal, leader of the BJP, Sabha Naqvi, senior journalist, Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst, Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. But first to a segment that's called The Standpoint, where Sabha Naqvi will certainly pose some questions to Vaibhav Aggarwal. And Sabha Naqvi, I want to ask you just one question. You have been among the fortunate few journalists who's not been a victim, who's been able to ward off the kind of attention that you were getting from MJ Akbar. Yeah. That's the account that you've written, Sabha Naqvi. But what about the so many scores of other young professionals who over the years would not have been able to fight this off? Can we actually, after reading all these accounts, Sabha Naqvi, tonight, just sit normally, have a coffee and have a debate without seeking accountability? Because today this gentleman is in a position of power more than ever before. He's not just the editor of a newspaper, of a magazine, of a television channel. He is the minister in the government, and he is the Minister of State of External Affairs, representing India abroad, Sabha Naqvi. Can the government stay quiet on this one?
Yeah. I hope not, Navika. I'll just say you're absolutely right. The reason I wrote this at some embarrassment to myself is because I wanted to add whatever weight and credibility I've acquired over the years to the accounts of younger women who were coming out and putting themselves on the line and possibly running the risk of being tagged troublemakers and unemployable. I wanted to just add whatever that these are completely credible accounts, because I was there as a 20-year-old in a new city, sent to learn journalism at the feet of this man, and what I encountered, was nothing but undue attention, unwanted attention, and I was lucky I walked away, I got away. But I know for a fact that many people did not. You imagine the confusion, this hero editor, many people did not, they succumbed, and it's not my place to tell their story. Some of them were treated like dirt afterwards when he found another target. And the point is not that, the point is the government is seeing 7 journalists, women who have worked in the media, come out and say the same thing, that this man misbehaved with us, this man is just inappropriate, and so the government should just step back and let go of this man, and he should resign. But he never had a moral center, so I doubt he's inclined to do the right thing unless he's under pressure to do it. I mean, imagine a man who sits there and calls little girls his age to his his daughter's age. And one of the things I want to say out here is, one of the people who encouraged me to write this article was my own daughter, and I'm proud of that, because she thinks it's important. This generation is more courageous than our generation, that these things should be stated out there, and
fair enough, Sabha.
In the case
fair
of
enough,
Aggarwal,
Sabha, and let's take that question to Vaibhav Aggarwal. Vaibhav Aggarwal, tonight, do you think the government can pretend this is happening in some other world, in some other country? This storm is concerning some other walks of life. This is about Indian cinema, Indian television industry, the media, and therefore they can get away without making an official statement, Vaibhav Aggarwal? I mean, you have, and your government and your spokespersons every single day do not stop talking, do not stop holding press conferences at the drop of a hat. Tonight, why is there pin drop silence?
You know, there is no pin drop silence. I'm here. I'm a member of the party and I'm here. There is no pin drop silence and I'm presenting a viewpoint. Now, if you look at it, the social taboo that will be considered an issue or a taboo in India may not be the same in the US, or what is considered to be a taboo and issue in US is not the same for India. So it's a social issue. We have to understand and draw a line between the legal aspects and the political aspects, and I've said this before and I'm saying this again. And we have to take on this opportunity very maturely as a society collectively, because the Me Too campaign, from where I am coming from, is a very respectful revolution, the way I see it, and I think we are running the risk of allowing it to be used and abused. You know, I am not doubting anyone. I am no one to give clean chits to anyone, and I am no one to cast aspersions on anyone. But what I am trying to say is that since it's taken such a long time, when MJ Akbar was no one, the guilt never ceased to exist. Now today MJ Akbar is someone, so he's being cornered. I also look at a political side to it. I look at it as a political witch hunt as well. You know, there's an opportunity for someone to get back to him at a time when he is at the peak of his career. Well, so be it. It's like that. So I am against it a little. I also want to understand and bring this and highlight this back, that this government is highly committed to bringing equality to the women of the country, wherein a society has been largely male dominated. We also need to understand
you're calling the Me Too movement an abuse of the women's movement by women themselves, and you are saying there is politicization. People are targeting MJ Akbar. Sabha Naqvi, is this the most preposterous defense that you've ever heard? And the fact that not one minister, not anybody of any position in the government has come out and made a statement, isn't this entire stand completely shocking?
It's an excellent
Vaibhav, it's very, very shocking that you should suggest that people are doing it for political reasons. Because, can I just finish what I'm saying?
No, I'm not suggesting
can I
that,
say
but
it's shocking you're suggesting that. If you recall in Harvey Weinstein, why did women, because there was this man running the ecosystem in Hollywood. There was Harvey Weinstein. Then when things happen, they happen, it's got nothing to do with politics. This is hardly, if I wanted to fight the BJP, I would argue with you as I have done.
As well.
This is, for me, getting into embarrassing things in the past. It is about gender, it is about women.
I absolutely agree
I'm so
to
sorry.
you.
Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal, how insensitive can you get that you find this a laughing matter? You find this a laughing matter, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal?
No. This is not a laughing matter, and I ain't laughing. I am in total agreement with what Sabaji is saying, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's not exactly what you're saying.
Entire Me Too revolution getting abused and used. That's exactly what my point is. If we debate on it and not run the hashtag MJ Akbar must go and look at it from anybody in the government,
and now Vaibhav Aggarwal says the Me Too revolution is being abused. It's being abused and being used politically.
You're running the risk of abusing it.
Who is? You're victim shaming on prime time television.
Who decides whether it's right or wrong?
I firmly believe that the Me Too movement is a citizen movement. There is no space for politics in this movement, and the reason it is strong is it is one woman telling her story to strengthen another woman, exactly what Sabha said. And other women pitching and saying that I believe your story and I gain strength from your story, and we will expose together these people who are morally bankrupt. They should have no space in positions of power. And when the government that said beti Bachao, beti Padhao is silent, it exposes their complicity, it exposes their mindset.
This is not about beti Bachao,
if this movement cannot make this government accountable, what will be?
But see, the moment you bring this up, it becomes political, right?
Where is the
One
moral
side you're saying
leadership
it's
of the
not
government?
political, and it's a citizen movement.
Where is the moral leadership of the government?
Well, MJ
that
never
will say
did this
that
while
I
he's
take
in the
these credible
government, or if he has
voices,
done
this
it,
minister
then
would be
you need
sacked.
to come out and lodge an FIR to get it
is not about he
investigated.
should resign.
Well,
he should be sacked if the government wants
even
any
if
kind
we
of
were to
moral
even if
standing
we
in the
were to
story,
take at
and we
face
are
value,
saying-
and that's the question I'd like to ask Tehseen Poonawala. You know, the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is a movement also for the citizens. Now, it is well intentioned. And it doesn't really help the cause of women in India or young girls in India if we mock Beti Bachao at every step of the way, simply because it has begun as a well-intentioned move to spread awareness and to try and tell people in all walks of life that we need to respect our girl child. So that is, you know, every time to bring in Beti Bachao is also probably not justified. But do you think what Vaibhav Aggarwal is saying is justified?
You know, this is exactly the kind of behavior that we all, or these women, are actually are rebelling against. This is called victim shaming. Vaibhav, you're on prime time television, the country is watching you, and you're victim shaming. You say maybe this is a political conspiracy. You're saying maybe it's true, it's not true. Who is to judge? Which means maybe these women are lying, and you have absolutely no business to do that.
But who is to judge? Exactly.
You should sit here and say, look, if there is something wrong, as a representative of the Bharatiya Janata Party, there must be an investigation, and pending that investigation, the person in the power of the position of power must go, period. To sit here and to victim shame people, to put judgments upon them is exactly the stigma women are fighting against. I am not in that position. Women like Sabha, women like the other women from all walks of life who are coming out and sharing their stories, they're doing it for a reason. Time for each one of us to reflect within ourselves, stop doing this, stop this victim shaming, and get down there and do a goddamn investigation. Stop giving your moral science lectures here. Get down and do an investigation.
70 frivolous cases on the influence of the other genuine 30 cases. So perhaps what Sabaji is saying is genuine.
Are you saying these cases are frivolous cases? Are you actually saying that our colleagues have come out and put frivolous cases against Mr. MJ Akbar?
These are women.
Are you saying that?
These are journalists who the country looks up to. Are you saying these women are making fake cases? What is the matter with you?
Your colleagues are more women than the other women of the country. Do you have any shame left in you? Get down to apologizing to Sabha. What's the matter with you? All women of one society. What is the matter with you? All I want to do is create a fine line between looking at it from a differential approach to
one second.
Because right now society has a differential approach.
Can you
learn to differentiate between a legal issue and a political issue?
Is this?
You have a mental issue.
You are saying there is a fine line, Miss Sabha Naqvi. Can you even digest these appalling statements that have come in from Vaibhav Aggarwal? He says there is a fine line. He says that some of these statements that have been made by these journalists, our colleagues Sabha, including the statements that have been made by you, are not verified, and therefore could not be labelled as the complete truth.
What happened to Abhishek Manu Singhvi's case? You know, I still have the video, Navika. What those women who are other victims, genuine victims, are less of women than your journalist colleagues.
We are talking about Mr. MJ Akbar, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal. You would do well to listen to.
What made them wait for all this long? What made them wait for all this long?
What made them wait for all this long?
Let me answer that.
Sabha will answer that. But may I tell you, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal, a lifetime is too little for women to gather the courage to speak about these kind of incidents that they have gone through, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal. You don't know. People like you do not have the sensitivity to understand that.
Will it be right for me Will it be right for me in my corporate career when I was a junior, will it be right for me to accuse my women bosses at that time, my lady bosses at that time, saying that I was asked for favors and I refused and that is why I couldn't do anything
I don't think anybody would be interested in having any kind of favor with you. I think you need to get a reality check.
I mean, what is wrong?
And the reason
Let's look at you're wasting shouting does not change the situation. I want to debate it to bring it to a conclusion. I don't want to make it a slugfest that you always do. All women are equal.
Oh yes.
So, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal, I think you are being so disgusting in the things you are saying. Why did all those empowered actresses speak out about Harvey Weinstein in one go? Why did it happen so? That the world, there has been a patriarchal order. These were men who were bosses. They were their bosses. They were running newsrooms.
Well, when you
they
bring
were
in
powerful
Harvey
men.
Weinstein, you
Do you
also
think
have to
a
bring
sexual
in,
assault complaint at that time would not have killed a career? In that climate then? These women would have had never got employment again at that time.
With all
a
due
sexual
respect,
assault. Now the world has changed.
It will be appalling if you
now
not
the
bring
world
in
has changed.
Playboy as
Can
well.
you allow me to finish?
Exactly. The world has changed. India has not changed. India is still changing.
A very simple point.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You're a writer. You'll be able to understand what I'm saying. There is a difference between differential social approach and an equal social approach.
Don't give me this
right now.
crap about social approach, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal. Nobody is interested in this. Nobody is interested in this explanation about social problems in India. Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal, yes. You definitely have a social problem. You need to get your mindset checked, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal. Let me welcome Mr. Shehzad Poonawala into this show as well. Shehzad Poonawala.
I don't need a certificate.
I mean, is this the defense that's coming in for what's happened? 9 women journalists coming up, and the best defense that's coming in from the BJP is that these accounts may not be true?
I think that it would be a travesty to pronounce judgment on whether these women are saying the truth or lying. We have to believe them, and the law believes them and presupposes that they are being true. So we should not be in judgment of those women. But I would say that those who are raising the question on this, they must introspect themselves. For instance, there are 2 instances, and both of those instances were broken on Times Now, against Feroz Khan and against a leading light of the social media, and was defended by the former social media head Divya Spandana. Rahul Gandhi was in the know of it. So I think that when they did not do anything, when these same things happened in their office, in their headquarters, they have no legitimate moral right to raise questions on others. But I am fully with the women's account. I think nobody can doubt those women's account. But we must also be wary about destroying people's careers on the basis of certain unverified facts.
So the Neta class has let everybody down, and by that explanation, Shehzad Poonawala, then why would anybody believe the charges against Mr. Patnaik as well?
Correct, because there's an FIR in place and there's a charge sheet in place. As far as the Feroz Khan issue is concerned, there's an inquiry committee, and that inquiry committee, although it's a whitewashing exercise, I think every complaint by a woman should reach the FIR stage, because that's the legal stage where we can say, yes, this woman needs the support and the person must go.
Tehseen Poonawala, for those who are jumping the gun for the neck of MJ Akbar, should they actually do some soul searching themselves?
Navika, as country and as men, all of us need to do soul searching. This is not the time I'm disappointed with Shehzad saying Congress did this, so BJP is doing this and we must introspect. No, when something's wrong, it's wrong. There's no Congress defending BJP.
So is the Congress wrong? When it doesn't look at complaints within its own setup?
The Congress needs to absolutely introspect, as well as the BJP. The difference out here in mine is that MJ Akbar is representing the country. Neither is Feroz Khan or Patnaik guy representing the country.
Okay, therefore, so then you can do what you want.
No, it doesn't. Therefore, it makes it even more incumbent on the government to act. But that is not taking away from the victims of Patnaik or Feroz Khan or the who say that they've been harassed. They too must be investigated, and this needs to end now. We cannot stop harassing women. Definitely, this business of shaming a woman. Why didn't she do it then? Why didn't she complain then? What if some woman was interested in me? I mean, this is absolute
you're
moronic
giving all
talk.
These lectures. What was the level of shaming that Divya Spandana did by putting out those letters in support of Chirag?
I have just got a message from a senior minister within the government who says the statements made by Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal is not the line of the BJP. So Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal, even the BJP does not quite concur with the position that you've taken. So, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal,
why is the minister scared to come on record?
That's a
No, I think
hat that
why
I have
is
to
the
wear.
minister
It's not
why is
happening.
the BJP
that?
scared to come on record?
Because Vaibhav said some sexist
There are
and ridiculous things on the show.
They say that
That's
they are a
exactly
big
what I'm
powerful
saying.
government. And
There
they
is no
are so
party
scared
that this is not a
cannot
political
even
event.
come on record
So
and
as a
answer
leader,
a
I can't
question
be making
that
a
is on their
statement.
ministerial
I'm not
colleague.
making a statement as a party person.
you're not making
You
the
just
statement
said-
as a
I'm not
party.
making a statement as a party person.
just
I
said
want to
there's
have
no
a debate
silence
as a
here. I'm the
citizen.
BJP
There is no
representative.
politics in it.
You just
Exactly
said
what
that.
I'm saying. There has to be a fine line between the
it
legal
exposes
So,
issues
Mr.
and
So, Mr.
political
Vaibhav
issues. There
Aggarwal,
isn't a
if
political
you're not
issue.
making
It
these
is a
statements,
issue.
you're
complicity as well as
you're
duplicity.
contradicting yourself. When we introduced the show, we asked you that why is the government silent? You said
Right.
the government is not silent. I will speak. I will make the statement on behalf of the party. Now you say you're not speaking on behalf
said I'm
of the
sitting,
party.
I'm a member of the
Contradiction number
party.
one. And
So it's not
contradiction
about the
number two,
government. The
Mr.
government
Vaibhav
has a different line
Aggarwal,
altogether.
when you are
Government, it
being
is for the
asked
government
these
to settle it.
questions,
It
you
is not
have
for me to
you
settle it.
have a mindset problem which you've displayed to the country today. All the viewers of the Newshour tonight have seen that when you allude to a social problem, when you allude to whether these women are being truthful or not, Mr. Vaibhav Aggarwal, you are casting aspersions on the women's account, women who have suffered, women who have
But
been
there's always a
violated,
second side of the
women who have gone through emotional, physical trauma. Is this how you speak about these women, Shehzad Poonawalla?
Absolutely not, and I completely believe that the minister concerned must have told you this, Navika, because frankly the defense on any of these subjects can't involve targeting the character and the integrity of a woman. No matter which party one represents or claims to represent, this is not the line that we can cross. We have to stand with these women, but yes, we must also remember that a legal stage is a firm stage where we can say that yes,
But you
something
can't
is
be
gone
mute
wrong.
spectators also.
Absolutely not.
So do you think the BJP, which is never short of words, today has maintained a stunned silence?
I think
and that's not quite in character?
I think what is required is for any political organization to react on is a legal stage, because if you start asking, there were allegations even against Rahul Gandhi by some girl or lady called Sukanya. Now that's not when BJP...
Everything is about legality, there's nothing about morality.
I'll explain to you. Labeled Rahul Gandhi as something, you know. So the point is there has to be a credible legal space where a party can react, but individually, I think individually the person whose allegation has been made, on whom allegation is made, he must come out and tell us, because it is not right for that person to keep quiet. It is his integrity, his character online as well. So he must come and explain it. And I think Mr. M.J. Akbar must come and explain it. But to hold the entire BJP responsible, to hold everybody responsible, I think that's...
One minute. I'm coming to you. Ghanshyam Tiwari is raising his hand. Ghanshyam Tiwari, do you buy that argument?
No, he never buys even the right argument or the national argument. He buys...
Absolutely not.
Of
when
course,
when the government chooses to respond from a back door, a government, when I question Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, it was about the
telling Navika journalist is a backdoor.
Do you remember a man called Gayatri Prajapati?
And Mulayam Singh Yadav, boys will be boys.
Do you remember a man called Gayatri Prajapati, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari?
I remember everything. I remember, but this is the reason I said that this is not a political movement. This is a citizen to citizen movement.
What is the example that your party set for this country, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari? Is it time to soul search on that as well?
This is not a movement about water boundary.
जिनके नेता कहते हो boys will be boys, men will be men, ये तो करते रहेंगे, वो आप दूसरों को प्रवचन दे रहे हैं। भाई आपका तो अद्भुत है, मतलब आप करो और प्रवचन भी दो। आजम खान ने जिस तरीके की भाषा जयाप्रदा के लिए इस्तेमाल की है, आप तो भाषण लेक्चरबाजी ना करें घनश्याम तिवारी जी।
Are responding from back door.
अरे telling journalist Navika Kumar is back door. This is the mindset. This is the mindset. अरे भाई क्या back door क्या front door है? अरे जर्नलिस्ट को बताया खुला बताया back door क्या है इसमें? आप जर्नलिस्ट के ऊपर सवाल उठा रहे हैं क्या? ये क्या बैकडोर का क्या मतलब होता है? आप देखिए, आप हमारी लड़ाई में जर्नलिस्ट को टारगेट ना करें। What do you mean backdoor? Navika has said it, whatever she's got it, she has said it. You are not targeting the character of the anchor. That is not acceptable to me. Your boys will be boys statement. No, this boys will be boys part 2.
BJP as a party cannot put a spokesperson, and then they unleash agents on debates who have zero.
Sir, you are you are agent of cycle and you talk for hand. You are cycle पे बैठा हुआ और हाथ के लिए बात करते हैं आप एजेंसी की बात मत कीजिए आप प्लीज आप तो एजेंसी की बात मत कीजिए आप किस किस के एजेंट हैं जेडीयू के एजेंट थे तब किसी और के लिए बोलते थे फिर सपा के एजेंट बने किसी और के लिए बोलते हैं आपकी एजेंसी तो मैंने बड़ी सारी देखी है भाई अरे छोड़िए जीएसटी आपकी एजेंसी देखी है हमने
This debate, the Me Too movement, will not be overshadowed by agents who want to just tell a story to distract the country.
Me Too movement will not be supported by agents like you.
Yes, Tehseen Poonawalla. I want to ask you this question: that those in the opposition who are today raising their voice, don't they need to look within first?
Everyone needs to look within, whether it's the government or whether it's the opposition. Lekin pata hai, the reason this movement is sometimes targeted is because people like Shehzad Poonawalla come on this platform and will target Rahul Gandhi. Then you talk about the legal issue, but Rahul Gandhi's case was dismissed. It was a fake petition and the petitioner was fined. But you don't talk about that. You try an equivalent of fake case with a genuine case. मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछा, आप यहाँ वहाँ की बातें छोड़िए बोलिए, क्या MJ अकबर साहब को रेजिग्नेशन देना चाहिए या नहीं देना चाहिए, उसका आप जवाब दीजिए, और क्या आप इन महिलाओं के साथ हो या नहीं हो, बस उस पर आप बात कीजिए. कौन क्या करता है, क्या हुआ कोर्ट में, उस पर आप छोड़ दीजिए. क्या एमजे अकबर साहब को जाना चाहिए कि नहीं, उस पर आप बात कीजिए.
अगर एमजे अकबर को जाना चाहिए तो चार्जशीट फाइल होने के बाद चिराग पटनायक पे दिव्या को बचाने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए वो भी बता दीजिए. चलिए
भैया, आप जो
भैया मुझे बताइए कि क्या
बात यहाँ पर एमजे अकबर पे हो रहा है.
Well, Sabah, I want to ask you, and I want to give the last word tonight to Sabah Naqvi. Sabah Naqvi, for all those who raise questions about why women are speaking up decades later, if they had spoken earlier, would they have saved a few youngsters in our profession? Or all those who are now name calling each other, looking at all the background material that's lying in every political party's cupboards, the skeletons in their cupboards. Is this entire Me Too movement going to get blocked in this? Are we not going to be looking at setting an example, setting a precedent? Because in this case, when we are talking about the alleged misdemeanors, we're talking about a gentleman who's in the Council of Ministers, the highest position in this country. I want to ask you, Sabah Naqvi, can the government be quiet any longer?
There is, I just want to say one thing. Mr. Akbar is also a very vindictive man. So everyone has risked something. He is not ordinarily. This is a man of great intellect. He's a very, very vindictive man. He still has a lot of assets in the media. So it's a risk for anyone who has spoken out. If the government does nothing and they continue to stand by him, it means, what can one, it would be very depressing. It would be a little scary also. And I still believe in my heart of hearts that he will go, even though everyone is telling me no. I still believe in my heart of hearts that he cannot survive this kind of, this is not some emotional outpouring, this is systematic information that is being given about how this man has not behaved once, not twice, he's done this over decades. So, and he is a vindictive man. So, there are risks involved in saying these things about Mr. Akbar,
Well, for those women who have taken that risk and come out and spoken, should the government come out and take a stand? Should they take a stand so that women in this country feel the confidence that they have a government that looks out for them, looks after them? Because after all, this is the government that fought for the rights of women like triple talaq. Was it just political ends that matter to this government, not just other issues like this Me Too movement also, where women are seeking gender justice? Thank you to all my panelists for joining me on this big debate. MJ Akbar must go, and there are no two ways about it. He must go, pending inquiry.